All right, you guys should be able to hear me. That's good. Come pop over to my little streaming avatar here. And it looks like I got things going in the background. Probably put this up and probably start this thing spinning. Go rotate can turn on. Yeah, let's see what we got going on in the lab environment. Let's see what we got going on in some of the other environments. Probably do a little bit of checking on stuff. If you guys have questions, if you guys want to talk about the group or the, what's going on in the professional Linux users group or any of that stuff, let me know. Let's go check some stuff out here. Oh, have I lost my session? Okay, it's possible. That does happen. Let's get it going. Let's get it back up. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not great, but okay. And let's check all my systems uptime. Let's see if we can connect and check some stuff out in the lab here. Oh, well, we knew Kafka was down. Never went back and fixed Kafka. Poor server. What is he? Let's see. Kafka. Oh, he's in the... He doesn't even exist as a node on here, so he's down. Yeah. He's a support node. We comment him out for now. Oh, that's... I have no idea what just happened with my system there. That is some weird stuff going on here. I don't normally see that. All right. Can we just comment out? That is super weird. I wonder if it's because we're in a session. Bucket. Let's just get rid of. Just get rid. Oh, there we go. Just get rid of all that. Screw it. We'll do it that way. We'll do it live. Where's that? Hold on, I got it right here.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Okay. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
That amuses me so much. All right. We got that done. That was just us checking the lab. Let me go. I'm going to pull up my... I'm writing a dissertation plan for this quarter. This one is going to be I want to clean this up and say, first off, strip all the formatting off. Don't need none of that stuff. Boom. If you guys have any questions about Linux or systems or any of those kind of things, let me know. I will answer any of those things if you want to know anything about our courses that are going on or any of that kind of stuff, what we're learning in there. Oh, and we're starting a new set of courses, so people that want to get involved with those can do so. Sometimes people want to know about that. Yeah, just let me know. I'm okay with that. Back in our data center. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. All right. Good. All right, got to keep working on this. So, week 2 is week 2 is rewrite. Actually, let's leave this. Do January 18th. I'm gonna say analysis strategy. Data. And then this will be discussion. Home lab infra. Trevor, I have some Proxmox going on. I have one server that's kind of a pretty beefy server with Proxmox, but I have yet to do. All I've done on there so far is build host box over, so all of my home stuff, all of my Samba connections and NFS are over on Hostbox 2, and that's been running for a couple months now. And then I have my Rocky 4 node, which extends Werewolf over here, so if we needed to rapidly build multiple Werewolf nodes over here, we could. Other than that, this box has pretty much been up since October with me doing very little on it. He's mostly sitting there, 512, he's right at 512 gigs of RAM, and he's got, some number of terabytes of disk space, and he's mostly sitting there idle, not really doing much of anything. So yeah, I do need to work on that, Trevor. So that's one thing that I'm getting going and eventually getting over to. I just haven't done anything. John Doe over on YouTube, how's it going? D Pirates Roberts, Dread Pirate Roberts over on Twitch, how's it going? Yeah, I'm not working super hard right now. Obviously, I just gotta get my stuff organized here. Let's just say, take this. This should be week 3 is 25. All right, so we're gonna switch this strategy up a little bit here, and we're gonna go here, and chapter 4 feedback draft should be done by this point, but I don't think I'll be ready for that. And this will be do. All right, clean it up. If he's schizophrenic, at least it's powered on. I have an old Dell. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of stuff just sitting on the shelf. Yeah. I often have plans for things and then we don't get around to it. Be schizophrenic. But one thing I will be doing for sure. Let me pull this up because a lot of times people want to know what's going on in the environment and stuff. Couple things to note. We got a couple boosts yesterday from Alex, so that's kind of cool. And now we have a little server tag. So you know how sometimes in Discord people want to use server tags. We got a cool little server tag that's do all the Linux, in case anybody's wondering. But what I was going to show is we've got these events. I think the automation course study group is canceled for today just because I know that Colchis wasn't going to make it. So I don't think anybody started this one. And then Writer's Room typically goes today. These probably are just going to get skipped for today. And then the Bash study group starts next Saturday. And then we've got the automation course that runs every Saturday. Next week will be week 12. I've got to clean up week 11. We did week 11 yesterday and kind of met, but I got to clean up that a little bit. And then we are starting the Linux admin course on February 21st. So for people that want to do that, it's going to be an 8-week compressed schedule. And there's the book and all that stuff. And I think we're going to end up missing probably that third week in March. But we're going to do a compressed one for that. Yeah, 512 gigs of RAM is not enough these days. Fair enough. Fair. And Shane's over there. Okay, good. You guys are doing stuff. So that's what we're working on. We've got, all kinds of stuff going on down the Discord. You guys can hang out in there and do pretty much whatever you want, as long as it's within reason and the law, right? As long as I don't have to go speak with the law on something somebody did, I really don't care. This will be Feb 1st. And then weeks 5 and 6 I've put together, which will be, I can put all the way, 5 and 6 will be Feb. I got this messed up. I'm looking over on my schedule while I'm talking about this. So 2 is the 18th, and then the 25th, and then Feb 1st. So the 6th ends on Feb 15th. Okay, Feb 15th. There we go. And planning for the unexpected. This will be week 4. Will be a discussion on writing up results, right? And then what I'm going to say is by this date. So this is my writing plan. So if anybody's wondering, like, what's Scott doing right now? This is my writing plan for my college course that I'm writing. It should be DRW 910, right? So this is for my just my writing plan, how far I'm going to be, and I'm going to say rewrite of unit or chapter 1 finished, draft of chapter 2 finished. So rewrite of chapter 1 finished, draft of chapter 2 finished. Those are going to be things that I'm planning on also having done as well. IRB is done, although I got to make sure that I'm completed on it. Addo Pretzel, I did the talk on OBS Studio. Yeah, I did that talk a couple weeks ago. Yeah, the streaming setup stuff. Yeah, I did that. I don't know exactly when that was, but that was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, we didn't do that. I didn't do that live. I wouldn't do something like that on stream, because that was me actually showing how the streaming pieces work. So that was actually done that was an event in the Discord. That I didn't do that live on stream for anybody. And the only reason is because when things aren't recorded, I can be a lot more candid. Like, I can tell you guys things, and I can talk, like, you know, you're not supposed to talk on stream about, like, how much you're getting paid and that kind of stuff. And it's a nominal amount to me. It's essentially not even worth rolling out of bed for. I mostly do this to just let you guys know that you can come hang out in our Linux group, right? That's mostly what I do. No, originally it was just one discussion, and I had done it in, yeah, I want to say it was like, God, does anybody remember what day I did that on? I could probably go find. I think there's a way for me to see what the old events were, but I don't have a, yeah, I don't even remember when it was. I had notes. Did I have notes from when I did that? I did a presentation on it too. Let me see if I can find the presentation. What did I call that? Probably some kind of streaming. Getting into prologue, getting into streaming. So this was like my general talk on it was this. I think this is pretty generic. Like, what do you want to stream? Where do you want to stream? Like kind of like how you make decisions on this stuff. And then I did a lot of, like, at the end, I did like demos on all the things. So this is like the kind of stuff we did. I could do one of those again. Just watch for it in Discord. I mean, people tend to like hanging out and talking with other people that are maybe interested in the same topic of streaming or whatever. So I can do another one of those, but maybe later on in the yeah, maybe we'll put one. We don't have that many people show up, so we could put it in a voice channel. If we have like 100 people signed up, we can't do it in a voice channel typically, because then if you guys don't know, Discord will screw everything up for you. Let's see, what's the dates look like here? I could do another one before we kick off the next round. Let me see, what's our January look like? Oh, actually, you know what? Let me yell something to my wife real quick. Hey, wifey. Sorry, guys, it'll be loud for a second. Hey, when is that Friday you were talking about where you're going to be gone? Hold on a second, guys. Let me go check something with the wife real quick. Yeah, what's that Friday you're gonna be gone? What was that? Is that this Friday?
No, Friday the last day of January.
Okay, okay. Then I can run a thing for the guys. Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll do it on a Friday then. Sorry, that because as I was sitting here saying, "Oh, we can't do it," the wife said, "Oh, that last day of January, that Friday, she's gonna be gone." So we'll say. Do another one of these. We'll do it. Let's do it at like. If she's gonna be gone, let's do it at like 8 p.m. for me. That'll be my time. So you guys, it'll be different, and it'll be getting into streaming. Where, what, when, why, how. I don't know, something like that, right? And then, yeah, I don't think that conflicts with anything. We'll do that. So if anybody wants to do that one, that'll be up in the Discord. Yeah. There you go, boom. Yeah, so just, if anybody wants to go to that, that's a pretty, I don't want to say standard talk, but it's like I don't know, like an hour and a half that I can just sit around and talk, and if we want to hang out, we can do whatever. John Doe said 8 weeks only for the admin. Yeah, we're gonna compress it. The way the voting went, people wanted to compress it down, so that's what I went with. We had options for 4 and 6 weeks, and then I think 6 weeks actually won, but there was a lot of people that also wanted to run a normal one, and I was like, all right, well, we'll just split the difference and we'll do like somewhere in the middle. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a good amount of work. Like Shane mentioned over on YouTube, it is not, like, I didn't write the course to be easy. Like, if it was easy, I mean, anybody could do it. I wanted it to be, like, more of a challenge. So these are the topics. And, like, honestly, like, most people that have done some Linux, the first 4 weeks are pretty straightforward. Like, they're just like, oh, get in the system, do some basic stuff. And then we start getting into stuff that's a little more, and the whole focus the whole time is like being on an admin operations type team, right? Because that's what I want you guys to kind of be good at. All right, this one is by the 15th. Let's see, when does week 8 end? Oh, that's super annoying that my mouse won't pop back up. That's going to end on March 1. And let's say for March 1st, chapter 2 finished. That's weird. Since when do paragraphs not? That's weird. Continue. That's one of the weirdest things maybe ever. All right. I don't know if I've ever seen that in Word before. Our draft. Maybe I should say, yeah, that's fine. And so by March 1st, then I'm pretty much kind of caught up. And then through the 11th week is March. It seems weird that the end of if the 8th week ends on March 1st, then the 11th week should be March 23rd. That seems weird because the 9th, 10th, and 11th. 9 through 9. All right, one, yeah, okay, well, I guess so. What are we going to do on that week? Is going to be this next one will be the same thing. Chapter 4 will be draft. This will be in really only week 12. Anyways, if yeah, sorry. Tim Bryan said, in case you have experience in SW, I don't have any software experience, unfortunately. Like, I don't write software. I'm more of a Linux admin engineer. I've been a kind of like high performance. Like, I do all the stuff with Linux, let's say. But mostly, you would say that I'm the guy who builds the systems and keeps them running, for the most part. This one will be March 30th. That's all. It just seems like a long month. And this one is complete unit of chapter 4. And then that'll be all the way till 12. And then I'll say 13 through 15. In this case will be 13 through 15. And that'll be due April 20. That'll be 13th. And I'll say final draft of chapter 4. 5 and 6. So what do I have? Final 6 results draft. Okay. So by March 1st, I guess I can kind of roll 5 through 8 together, because that's kind of my plan. All right, so that's kind of my dissertation plan for this week. So 2, 3, 4, rewrite a chapter 1. So this quarter. So like this whole next 4 months, really. January, February, March, April. Yeah, so 4 months all the way, and then I'll have my 4 of my 5 chapters done. There we go. We got discussions each of these weeks. We got all that stuff. Let me save that. Yeah, so that's my plan. That's my writing plan. So I have to like keep track of my writing plan and make sure where I'm at for each quarter and that kind of stuff. You're trying to get a Linux dev job. Ah, I see. Yeah, it's a little to the like side of my, like I've supported literally in the hundreds of dev teams over the years. Mostly right now I deal with research teams. So and specifically on like NOAA projects and stuff. So like if we were saying like if you're going to like DICE or something and saying like let's go Phoenix, right? Yeah, so there's depth. I mean, this is all nationwide type stuff. One of my buddies did put out a job. It's more Linux admin stuff, but it's out in Chandler, so it's a little far from me. Plus, I'm not looking like some of you guys know. I'm gonna die at my company, man. Like I either have to be let go or whatever. But my company, I'm gonna stay with them as long as I can. They want some Rel 8. That's a company that's farther back on the on the systems world. Oh, LSF, man, I haven't seen LSF since 2015. It's still kicking though. So this is high performance compute. If they're using LSF, they're submitting jobs through a platform. So it used to be Platform LSF, but now it's IBM bought it, and it's basically their management tool. So for people that care about NIST and stuff. Software engineer, crossing hurdles, whatever that is. Looks like they want some people to do some stuff, and it's contract. Now I tell people like, and I don't know how old anybody here is, but like if you're younger, like contract work can be really lucrative. Like I'm a little older, so I'm not looking. I'm in my 40s. I'm not looking for contract work as much anymore. And the last time, It's actually funny. The last time I jumped for a contract role, it did not go well. I went over to Best Western right at 2019. Right at the end of 2019, I left, my big insurance company and went over to Best Western. And if anybody remembers what happened in March of 2020, fucking COVID hit, right? And COVID hitting, like, they let all their contractors go. They loved me. I was an AWX engineer for them. I was like architecting everything for Tower and Ansible in their organization, but they, so like contract works fine, but like I don't do that stuff anymore. But it is a good place to get in for people that are trying to get in, right? They want somebody strong in Linux. Oh, strong. Big old flex on that, right? Be good at Linux. They want you to be able to do data visualization. That's also useful, and be able to do Grafana, which is important. Wow, they want you to do everything here, man. Look at that. They want you to be Power BI. Jeez. Power BI is what my brother does in data analytics and data engineering. That's what my brother does. So that is a long range right there, guys. But all right, they want DBA. They always roll in DBAs with Linux, which I always think is interesting. Like, I love Linux stuff, but I don't want to be a DBA. Can I do DBA work? I mean, maybe I could do some SQL, but I'm not looking to like maintain databases. So like, I'm not a DBA. But and then they mention immediately like Oracle and AWS. So it's like, wow, people want a lot nowadays, man. Linux admin for American systems. I think I know somebody that might be over there. One of my old college students. I kind of keep up with all my college students, kind of know where people are at and stuff. Yeah, my place is definitely a retirement gig. In fact, my company just retired their first employee early 2025. They just retired the first employee. My company's been around almost 30 years. Redline. So some of you guys know who I work for. Anyways, yeah, so that's something to look at and think about. Let's get rid of the guacamole. We don't need the guacamole right now. We also don't really need this PDCA. It's part of an OODP loop and a PDCA loop, if you guys know what those are. But I'm not going to go into those right now because I just want to make sure my plan looks good. Hold on. Due by the 18th, which is next week, we'll have the discussion strategy. And I'm just going to say writing chapter 1, fixing, damn it. Chapters, so this is kind of my plan, is like fix and rewrite chapters 1 through 3, and then have these ones done. So rewrite will be done for 1, 2 will be drafted for sure. Although 2 is the longest one, but I have a good amount in that already. I have a fair amount. I think I have about 60 pages of the dissertation done now, somewhere around 60. And then I need to get it all into that. So, all right, that's good. So I'm gonna put that. I actually have to submit that here in a minute on my other screen here, so give me a second. Checking Canvas. Can I do my assignment for my timing plan? Drop this thing in there. Here's my weekly plan for my dissertation. And control point, new, hold on. This should all be, well, this should be 12-point new font. Yeah, Times New Roman. Yeah, that's what I got in the template, so it shouldn't be too much different. Okay, we can close that down. That's all done. Let me make sure I submit it though. I don't like things being late in my college. All right, so that part's done. That was one of my academic endeavors I had to do tonight. And some of you guys know, like, Sunday nights are kind of like for me to do academic stuff and mess around and keep the fires hot on the dissertation work and such. All right. What else do we have, guys? Oh, I need to write. We got some stuff to work on with our automation course, specifically our unit 11. Let me pull that up so I have that. And I need to, whoops, oh, get out of there. I need to get this organized for everybody. Make this all unit 11, clean it up for this week. I probably have some drawings I need to do, so let's probably pull that out. We'll do some drawings here probably. Specifically, I have one drawing I really want to do around patching. So, you know, we talked pretty heavily yesterday about how we do our patching and how we focus the different types of, what would you call that? The stateful or stateless nodes and how we patch them. And I need to draw that up and put it into the presentation so then I can record Unit 11, right? Because we did the Unit 11 together, but I didn't have the lab finished and I didn't have the presentation all put together. Mostly because I was out of my house all day yesterday, so I didn't really get it all done. So I have that stuff all done. Get that all put together. Okay, good. Yeah, but if anybody has, I guess, questions about, you know, what we're doing around here or what our Linux world looks like here, what we're doing, I need, yeah, what's our failed to ban status over here? I haven't looked at this in a couple days. All right. We do want to tweak some of this too because it doesn't come up correctly in our Grafana right now. It's only banning, I think I have banning set for 4 hours, and I'd like to set the banning to forever like we used to. Oh, excuse me, and then we could just keep track of how many banned we have, and because I think the numbers right now look really small because we don't keep them banned forever like we used to. When I switched over to our newer Jumpbox, because we're on Jumpbox 02 now from Jumpbox 01, and we used to have, you know, 40,000 banned or something. We might even still have it over here. What was that? Failed to ban, client status SHD. This may even still have them all banned, even though we switched the connect. Yeah. Even though we switched the connection over, it used to keep all the banned. Yeah. I think this breaks when you pipe it through more. I don't think it actually. Yeah, I don't think it actually shows you. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we had 58,000 banned, and we never let them go. Right? We banned them forever over here. But then we jumped up to a newer version, and let's see. Let's see, where is that? I thought it was in jail.conf, but maybe not. Yeah, yeah. This is definitely not presenting to the screen correctly. There's some. Yeah, there's definitely something going on here. That's fine. Idle Pretzel, I haven't dig deep dive into the news yet. Only came across the thumbnail of a YouTuber Say Torvalds is starting another new project and is excited. Yeah, I actually saw something about that, Adel Pretzel. I didn't read it though. I didn't read what Linus was working on, but I saw that he was doing something. Yeah, it might be interesting. You guys know, some of you guys know, he wrote Git. Like Git is actually one of his projects, and then he sold it to Microsoft. So you know, GitHub and all that stuff that's kind of the standard nowadays for how we do pretty much everything. That's directly from Linus Torvalds. Some of you guys might know that, but all right. So what are we doing here? What are we doing in this environment? And again, my screen is completely. You know what? We're gonna leave everything. We're gonna get out all of them. We'll bounce out of everything. We're gonna get completely out of screen. We're gonna wipe screen completely. Yep. We'll just start a screen session. And then now we can start to, if we wanted to, become root and then jump into our different environments. And maybe we set this one to like jump 01, right? So this will be our jump 01. Make a new one and make this one, whoops. Oh my gosh. Maybe make this one jump 02. Right. Oh, I can't jump over there actually, is that I have to jump over. Do I use my normal user? I think I have to with a password, yeah. Oh man, I cannot type today. Yeah, there we go. Oh, gotta do that too. There we go. All right, so now we're root over there, and then oh, actually, you know what? Nope. Same thing with the werewolf. Got a different user for werewolf. It's like jumping into my environment would be difficult for people just because of the amount of non-reuse I use of things. Jeez. How do I get anything done? I don't know how I get anything done around here, guys. All right. So anyways, I'm mostly just checking the environment. I do need to, on the werewolf node though, I do kind of want to reboot all these. So we checked all the servers for uptime and, you know, made sure that they were all doing what they should, right? But I kind of want to reboot them and just clean the lab up. Nobody's in the lab. I checked a little while ago. I was actually just checking that on Jump 02 right here. Right, I'm the only one in the lab. Nobody's connected across the bastion right now. So I can actually just hit these with a reboot. Right, so we'll reboot all the nodes, and then we can watch one boot if we wanted to. If we needed to, we would go here, and we would make sure that we could connect to everything. Connect. This is my older servers here on XCP-NG, and we can watch any one of them boot, but we'll watch let's go like Rocky 1. Watch Rocky 1 boot. He'll boot up. We'll see him pull his stuff across from Werewolf, right? They're stateless nodes. So let's go sleep. So we'll go 300. And then we'll sit here and watch this. So yeah, if people have questions, let me know. I'm not working super hard. I got my college stuff done. I am going to be doing more research again like we were doing before on Sunday nights. But we'll...
I can answer that for money.
I didn't even mean to hit that one, but that's one of my... If you guys haven't seen or heard these...
Get to the chopper!
My favorite one that I haven't gotten to use yet is this one.
You get
get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. Hopefully you guys can hear those okay. I think you guys can. I got more of these over here. My little laugh react. Right, that one's fun. I have this one, which is kind of an older reference now.
Because of the implication.
Oh, because of the implication. If you guys don't know that one, no, that's kind of funny. And then this one, I like this one. Maybe I need to find the same tone. The Grace Jones one, that one is actually pretty funny. You grab him and you take him. I should look to see if I can find that one, huh? I do have one of Arnold. My one of Arnold is right here.
Get to the chopper!
Get to the chopper. It's from the original Predator. Look at this box. It came up, didn't know who it was. Now it knows it's Rocky 1. It's going to pull down its kernel and its init RAM FS. It's going to go inside of its init RAM FS, which we built with DraCut. It's going to boot properly and then pull its DraCut image and be able to properly switch over. It does a switch route to init RAM. So these are RAM FS file systems on our nodes, right? A friend of mine mentioned that one the other day. Yeah. It was in one of the security courses we were doing, and I was talking about getting logs off of servers, and I made the Grace Jones reference from Conan the Destroyer, which is the better one. The second Conan movie I like much more than Conan the Barbarian. I think Conan the Barbarian's fine, but Conan the Destroyer is a hilarious movie, and she's telling the girl about what to do, and if you like a man, what do? You just grab him and you take him. And that's what we do with log files, right? We just grab them and we take them. So that was one of our little jokes. This node, I got to clean up. I always got stuff to clean up in the home lab, but he's booting. That's what matters for now. These nodes take about 180 seconds to boot, so they take about 3 minutes. But when I kick over the Proxmox, so you say, is it the network or is it the backend node and the hardware and this and this? When I do the same server type, the same image on Proxmox, the node boots up in about 10 seconds. So, yeah, the Proxmox node is significantly faster on the newer hardware. And eventually I'm going to be moving everything over and probably decommissioning some of these older, like one of these servers that's been around a long time is not, what is he? One of them is like 32 gigs of RAM. One of them is just old. Yeah, this guy. This guy's a sad server. He's been around a long time. But he's got a lot of old stuff on there. I even got my jump box still on there, so I need to move the jump box off over to Proxmox too. So we'll get there. Ernesto, yeah, happy Sunday. Absolutely. Yeah, we're not working too hard. We're just we were doing a little bit of my college stuff, which I'm pretty much done with. At least the assignment part of it's done. I still have work to do, and I really need to get in a mode where like the last couple hours of every Sunday I work on it and probably, visit it on Saturday morning and make sure that I have all my time organized correctly. Because really what I need to do now is get I'm going to put everything into my template, so then I have my template looking correct, the way I want the dissertation to look. And then I need to rewrite and kind of clean up chapters 1, 2, and 3 the way I want. And then since I have IRB, I got to check with them, but IRB should be complete, which was the internal review board. I should be able to now start collecting data, which is all going to be system work. So I can do that. I can set those tests up and work on all that here. Like on Discord, like there's no rule against that. Showing you guys what we're doing or what I'm working on. I just want to make sure that I have it codified where I can do the work before I start showing that stuff. My focus is on bastions and system security, so it will be stuff I've been doing professionally for many years in the Linux space. How we air gap systems and then build security in there. and I'm going to be kind of making that better. So that's going to be part of the research. So, yeah, that'll be a fun little thing. That's just what we're doing. And Zorgel, I think you're switching between both sides, right? You're on Twitch and YouTube, right? Also, some of you guys, I don't see it drawing right now, but I know it was drawing earlier. Up at the top right, that's a little sand art thing that my wife has. We repurposed Ranger Cam, and that's just sitting up there drawing. Although it does pause in between. I don't see it moving right now, but it was drawing that earlier. So that little sand art thing should kind of go. Mobile and desktop still moving around. Nice. Okay, good. Yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out. We're not doing anything too super technical tonight, but I am always telling you guys, for people that got in later, I'm always telling you guys about the Discord. Like, we got this Discord. You can hang out in there. There's always stuff going on. Obviously, us working on the YouTube and stuff. Lots of events coming up. I made a new event while we were sitting here talking, right? The new event is we'll go over and talk about getting into streaming again. So people that want to learn about that, we'll do that Friday, January 30th, because the wife's going to be doing something. I think she's doing like a soccer game with the kids or something, or she's going to one of the soccer games. So we'll do a little getting into streaming talk at 8. I think that works better for some of the people, because I know people from the other side of the planet have been asking about making sure that I have stuff that they can do. And I think that's, even if that's early for people, at least for some people, that's kind of at least in the morning for them. So some people can make that. And then also the Linux admin course is coming up. We're going to start that on the 21st of February. So that'll be a compressed schedule, and we'll just run through the stuff and do a bunch of Linux. If anybody wants to prep or get ready for that stuff, we have everything recorded. That's all in the beginner start here section. In fact, the playlist for the Linux automation course, we're all the way up to unit 10 in there. So that's all recorded for people too. So anybody that wants to go watch that stuff and just kind of see what the course is about, that's going. I rebuilt some of the Ansible stuff, so the Learning Ansible playlist is also updated. And I think that's a good one. I mean, people that want to get serious about like sysadmining and getting into engineering, like the days of us just white knuckling it and doing it in like shell scripts are kind of gone. You still do need to know shell scripts, though. You're going to be supporting them for many years. But a lot of the new stuff that I've been writing, and when I say new stuff, I mean like net new server builds, net new process for the last 11 years has been almost exclusively done in Ansible. So it's not that you don't still do shell scripts. It's just I haven't written anything in shell professionally. Well, I take that back. I did write a scrubber script for Lustre in 2025 that was about, if I had to guess, 200 lines. It was only a couple pages, and that was shell. But everything else I do is all Ansible. Like all my automation work and all my build work is all Ansible. So, and that's I just think that's a tool. I'm a big fan of calling it the cult of Ansible, but man, it's a good tool. Works well. All right, so we see all the nodes back up, by the way. That's what this Ansible playbook did. Like this, not playbook, but ad hoc mode, right? Just a quick little check of your servers, go about your day, right? All the nodes are up, everything's rebooted. We got a playbook that runs in the morning, so for us in about 3 hours, so when I'm asleep here in a little bit, we'll see something pop in the sandbox that tells us all those nodes are up. Now, the problem, and this is the thing that I need to go fix and write, we could play with that if we want to, but the reboot report works when we do it live, but it tells us what's rebooted in the last 24 hours, and we just rebooted those. So when this check goes off in 3 hours, this should show that all the nodes rebooted, and that's what I want. I want to know that nodes rebooted because, by the way, if you guys are doing the labs, right, you can get in the labs down here in the Prolog lab environment. If you're doing the labs, I want you to reboot the servers when you're done. Guys, there's no, like, I tell people all the time, there's no harm in rebooting the servers. They're your servers. That's what they're there for. They go down and they come back up in a stateless node configuration, so that's what we want. But my reboot report doesn't work right because even though it's querying, let's see where that's happening. I don't even know where I do that from. I think I do that from over here. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is it right here. So this is where I kick it off from right here. Linux. And then what is it? It's changed over the years. There is so the Loki query stuff actually works just fine when we first set it up, right? So when we run, we construct the Loki API URL from what happens up here. And here, this is where we construct that from, right? So I could run this right now and build one of these, and it would work just fine. But when it kicks off late at night, the query doesn't work right. This query doesn't show anything. And that is a bit of a conundrum to me. Let's kick it off. Let's see. So we're going to do this command right here, right? We do the whole command if we want. But we're going to say, whoops, not good. Report is false. So the report won't come out against these nodes, at least not in the sense of, it won't come out, yeah, that's annoying. I need to get rid of that 2 cows, or the cow stuff. Let's go hit them real quick, let's see. One of the nice things about Ansible is it's self-documenting, so it tells me what it's doing. And the query just saw the nodes that had rebooted, right? Like it sees all these nodes rebooted, and it sees the value in the request that we wanted for Auto 3 and all these different nodes that rebooted. So it sees it up here, but in our Jinja template report, which is... let's see where it's writing to. This is where it reports out to, right? This is the one that we just, this is the one we just did right here, right? So this is the only one that's going to be at a different time than normal. And in there, see, look, this showed all these nodes rebooted. So if I had run this here, it should show, so we would see that all the nodes had rebooted, right? And they had all just come up in the last few minutes. I see also the time it took for them to come up. And I see that, yeah, they just rebooted. But when this runs in a few, when this runs in a few hours, it's not going to see these. Camp Bella Hamster, how's it going? We are just hanging out and looking through. I'm just kind of not really working hard, but kind of troubleshooting why my reboot report isn't coming correctly to Discord. Because we know, like here's the thing, you guys, this is it. It just worked right here, right? And it said I just did it right now, which was today. This was today's time, and that's in UTC, I believe. Let's see, what's our date now? Yeah, because it's UTC, so it's 6 hours ahead of us. So this is showing tomorrow, right? Because we're on the 11th still, but this is tomorrow as far as that's concerned. That's fine. I don't mind that kind of like difference when it stamps, right? Like that's fine. But all of these nodes just rebooted. We literally just rebooted them. You guys saw me do it. We know we rebooted them. but then in the report when it comes out, and again in a few hours, it's here. So the first thing most people would say is like, well, Scott, your query time's not long enough, right? And I say, you're right. That could be it. So where does the query time come from, right? Well, it's here. This is where the query time is determined right here. I'm gonna grab this, right? When I troubleshoot stuff and I'm jumping around a lot of times I'll pull up like just a notepad, and just because I don't remember things like I used to, so I'll just grab that, right? And then there's our query time. Here's query, and the start time is for 24 hours ago, so it should go 1 day back from right now. And then now some of you might say, well, okay, so if the query time worked, but it's only been a few minutes, what if we ran this later, and then maybe the Loki endpoint you're using just doesn't keep stuff that long? And I say, see, that would be a good check, right? Well, the thing is, I have this Loki plugged up, right? So for our testing here, Loki is plugged into my Grafana, right? So I can come over here. I can stop this from rotating here. Let's turn our Go Rotate off. Stop rotation. And I can come here, and I should be able to go to Messages, and I should be able to go right here and say like System D, and I should be able to see all of those systems, those System Ds that just rebooted. And this is what we're looking for here. We're looking for System D startup. So System D, I don't know, 1, right? Maybe that'll find it. These are all these nodes starting up right here. So that's actually the query that we just saw. In the report. So root, what was it? In this report. So this is all connected, right? This should be over here. Like I should be able to see target 1. You know, systems. Let's do the full thing. Startup finished. So for target 5.1, there it is, right there. Right there's that. That's the exact one right there. Oh, there's a log parsing error. Okay, maybe. That should still be fine. I'll be fine with that because it's still in there. It's still passed through. So here's this query, and what I'm positive is if I go back to the last 24 hours and I looked at this tomorrow morning, I would see these in here. I've checked this before, just so everybody knows, right? Like, just so you guys know, like, kind of how I've troubleshot this before. Even though I'm not really taking this super serious, right? Because it's my home lab, so I can do whatever I want. My point is, I can see it here in this report, and I can see it in here for as far back as I want to go. In fact, I could just go, let's say auto 3 for messages, and let's just say for the last 24 hours, I can definitely see. Let's go look. The last 24 hours worth of messages. Well, it should be able to. I think. Let's see how this query goes. Let's give it something a little more. Auto 3. I don't know if it'll find full strings like that. Nah, it'll only find full strings. So auto 3 goes back too far, but let's go over here. We'll go secure. Let's go auto 3 and secure. So secure's not coming in. That should, I mean, that doesn't matter to this except, oh, whoops, auto. There we go. And this should definitely go back. Yeah, this is going back to the day before. So my point is the Loki instance is keeping longer date. And it's not rolling off. There's no, well, no. This is interesting. Maybe it is rolling off with the amount of, because our Loki server, where's Loki at? go look at the status for Loki. He's doing all the things that he should. Temp has space, plenty of space. In fact, it's off of the root, right? So it's mounted on root. I do wonder. I mean, we keep 24 hours. I remember writing this a while back where we told it to keep at least 24 hours, right? But I do wonder if the query range, this could be part of it. It could be going over the max size of the meg of the query range. But I'm pretty sure we've rebooted this right before. So I'm thinking a couple ways we could check this. We could run this every 5 minutes, you know, tonight, and see when it drops off finally, because it's not going to make it to properly reporting 3 hours from now. I'm sure of that. I've seen this happen. I've seen this behavior, and in all the previous time, we see that too, where we don't see the reboot report. We see the unreachable nodes. That's not a problem. It's only in this reboot report. So our things we can change are, again, the query range, but I've not seen that be yeah, I don't know. This query range, yeah, this does go only back. All right. So even though I have this set all the way back, it's still only going back so far. It's very possible that there's something limited here. Let's go look here. 123 megs, and that's not changing too much. We can query Loki directly to test if we want. You know, we can do API calls, we can check. Port 3100 for that, by the way, in case anybody's wondering. We could do queries and check how far back we see. But yeah, I wonder, or I maybe think from this, maybe I was making the assumption that it was going back 24 hours, but it's really not, because it is getting filled and it's not seeing all the way back. Yeah, because this is only, you know, last few minutes as far as all that goes, and that's as far back as this query goes, even though it's the last 24 hours. So, well, let's see, that's 16 all the way up to, yeah, so it's only reasonably less than 30 minutes worth as far as the amount of. All right. We can change this and see if this gives our query here a longer time, right? And then, well, obviously we got to restart the service if we do that. Yeah, let's give it a try. Right, so there's our original. just for fun, we'll give this, make that one order of magnitude bigger, right? Shouldn't take up too much more of anything. Box is fine as far as all that stuff goes. Restart Loki. Check our status on Loki. Looks like it's running. Looks like our query over here is working. But now let's see if our query can go back further. So we were down to 2016 before. Right? That's as far back as it went. Still as far as it's going. Lots of events as this thing popped up. Because my query should be going back for a whole 24 hours if it can. I may also have a limit in here. I don't know if one's been written in here. Oops. Nope. No limiting there. The interval is the full 24 hours. All right. Nothing should be stopping that then. By the way, we have labs on how to query logql if you want to learn how to do that. It's a very, very prevalent log format. I think there's even one at the top here that gave you a link to it if you wanted. For anybody that's like, oh, I want to do logql, that's the life for me. There you go. Here's how to do queries in logql. I'll link it for you guys. But there you go. Yeah, and then we have obviously the ability to go look at this stuff. But I've done all the checks. I know that it's still keeping the data. So yeah. That's fine. There's all the failed users trying to get in. Now that's going further back, and that's got to be something to do with the buffer of how much information's held in there. Because I'm looking at this, and this is going back for days, but only loaded up with so much. But that query should then go. Let me think about that. Yeah, then that query should go back as far as it needs, because it'll have filtered out all that other stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. This is a strange one, and I just haven't seen the behavior enough to know why it's doing that. Yeah, this is going all the way back to yesterday, or very early today, as it were. But that's over 24 hours right there, or that's right at 24 hours right there for the system. So, all right. Well, a lot of failed. Normally we only look at this in 6-hour increments. How many people failed to get into our system in the last 6 hours, right? Through our Bastion. And it's funny, they use very popular, so Hadoop, Zabbix, Postgres, they're looking for open names. Test, Red Hat, Test. ES is a very common one. Root is a very common one too, but obviously you shouldn't, an FTP. Like, they're using all the defaults, so when you guys have ever seen like the CIS and the STIG benchmarks to immediately PCI does this as well. The PCI DSS standard is the same. You immediately disable any default accounts. You never leave any of these up. This is insanity. Like you leave like a MySQL account open to the world. That's insane. Admin, all this. So these are all just people rattling the doors, looking for open locks, looking for default passwords and things. Here's guests. They're trying to get in as guest and user and admin. And what are these ones? These ones are all root, right? Root's obviously going to fail because we don't allow root in as a policy. Root is blocked. Right? Your root should be permit root login. No, you can't come in as root on my box. And if we did, which we're not going to, it would probably be like certificate based or some type of other thing than a password. And the reason is you say, well, what if you slowed people down and what if you had like locks and this and all this other stuff? Well, that's fine, right? And timeouts and all that stuff, except the problem is root never locks. Root in a modern Linux system doesn't lock. And that's a good reason it doesn't lock. You lock the system. Oh, Minecraft. I try to get into Minecraft. Look at all these root attempts. Root can't log in my box. But they're all coming in. You'll notice they'll come in from different IPs because they get banned forever. But yeah, root is not a real... professionally, you won't have root ever exposed. Users have to come in and then elevate their privileges up. So, all right, well... I mean, our options here are to keep working on, what do we got here? I got to finish this up. I'll get this going probably sometime tomorrow. I'll post these up. Only one person's in the discussion, so I know people aren't that involved in doing the discussions. But I'll get the Unit 11 discussions posted up. One thing I need to do, I better just open this up and get this going. If I'm going to speak at scale, which I think I'm speaking at scale in March, I haven't heard back from them. I need to update my werewolf presentation for scale. So if we do, if I'm at scale, which would be scale 23 in March, I'm going to update this with all my talk on this, but then I'll also have probably some live demos involved in it for people that want to do some practice or live demo stuff. We'll do that. Adel said, do you think Minecraft Temp was a result of a recent CV? Don't have the specifics, but there was big news about it. It probably is. I mean, a lot of that stuff, almost all that stuff is just bots, just constantly going around, pushing buttons, looking at stuff. It's bot networks of... And this is one of the things I tell people often, like in the cybersecurity space, you don't have a right, like you don't have a right to self-defense in the cybersecurity space. And you say, what do you mean by that, Scott? Well, what I mean is if you come up on the street and you push me and then you grab me and then you push me up against the wall, I should give a little disclaimer here. I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and your first lesson then becomes free. But anyways, I'm saying if somebody touches me, right, I have the right to defend my person myself, right? That's like a God-given intrinsic human right, whatever that is, right? Whatever you want to call that as a person. But in the cybersecurity realm, you do not have that right. So what I mean by that is like when I worked as a big, I was the red team lead for like a big insurance company for a while there. And I did not have the right, if people were like banging on our doors and testing our security, to attack them back. And there's a reason, part of the reason for that is because like a lot of people that are doing that stuff are just compromised accounts, like some grandma in Kansas that's been compromised and her server or her workstation is being used for whatever, and she doesn't even know it, right? Like she's not maliciously doing stuff. So if you start targeting people back, you don't have like the right to self, if that makes sense. I mean, hopefully that makes sense to people, but it's like the right to self-defense is non-existent in the cybersecurity realm. If you do something back to anybody, it's immediately illegal, right? And where I go with that is uh, the mention was like if somebody was doing that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It could have been something like that. But most of these things are just bot networks that people are like trying to connect you on. And most of our like what we consider reasonable security is harden a box and then put it out on the web, right? And then monitor. You got to monitor stuff. So there's like a whole cycle to that. For sure, U.S. and Western countries. I don't know about other countries, Adel Pretzel, but like in the U.S., yeah, you have no like, in Arizona, or I live in Arizona, but in the U.S. in general, like there's a bunch of laws like stand your ground and this and this and this, but that kind of stuff you do not like have the right if somebody connects to your system and tries to do something that you deem malicious to do something back to their system. I can just tell you, like, you'll get hammered every single time. Like you're breaking the law immediately when you start doing anything back, red teaming back and all that kind of stuff. You can really only do your stuff internally. Kobe said international laws allow one to attack before being attacked. Such suspected after peace. Yeah, but I'm sure there's different rules and that kind of stuff. I can just tell you for sure if you're a U.S. company and if you're like a member of ISC Squared, which is, you have to adhere to certain rules of I'm going to do cybersecurity for good. And I can just tell you right now, like if your company's like attacking people back, one, you're wasting cycles, like your own cycles of stuff. And two, it's just our only real like ability is to lock things down and then protect. Like I tell people all the time, if you're not playing red team for your company, you're playing immediately blue. You're immediately playing defense for your company. And everybody in IT is always playing defense. Even if you, if you don't watch even like your emails and how you connect to things, that's how a lot of things get compromised. People just click shit in emails, right? Can't be clicking stuff. In fact, I always have different campaigns at work around that, and I just constantly ignore stuff like that. I just don't do anything with it. I made a GIF years ago, like a GIF meme that was like, if you guys have ever seen Wayne's World. It's Wayne's World 2 specifically, where they're backstage and they're showing everybody their VIP passes. That's what I always joke around. Like when cybersecurity like bullshit comes every year, I just want to show them my CISSP and be like, leave me alone. But they don't let me. They make me take the stupid training still. No, ISC Squared is the one that they're just the organization for. They're like the Internet Security Consortium or whatever. They're the ones that do CISSP, CCSP. Like all those certs and stuff. No, they're not a and it's written ISC and then the number 2. That's the way you'll see it. But it's ISC Squared is how you say it. Yeah. And some of you guys know I'm a CISSP and a CCSP. But those only go on like if somebody asks me academically, or those only go on my email if like I'm arguing with security about something. That's the only time anybody knows. Like that's the only time I pull those credentials out. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. I don't like sit around and talk about credentials all the time unless people care. I think I think the biggest part of all this is can you build it and can you make it work, right? That's the most important thing, right? Like can you get in a command line? Can you make this stuff do the stuff that you need it to do? Even if it's messy, right? Like I tell people all the time, if you watched me work all day, you'd just think I'm a madman, and you'd probably be right. But when but then I get stuff done because I kind of drive towards my goals and I drive towards whatever I'm working on. So, all right. What else do we have? Mainly, the main reason I'm on right now was obviously to focus a little bit on my college stuff, which is done, and then to tell you guys that there is a Discord, there is a place that you can come hang out. These two, again, the writers' room and the other one probably aren't going to happen this week because I know people were busy. But next week there's a Bash study group. There is week 12 of the automation course will be next week, so we'll be on week 12. There's a study group for that. You can go meet people, hang out with people that are doing similar stuff to you guys. Getting into streaming, we'll have a little bit of a talk on that. And then Linux Admin, the compressed 8-week course is going to be coming up. And I'm probably just going to start doing like, We probably won't do the ones because some of you guys know there's these ones currently on the web page. Where's that web page at? Hold on. Over here on the web page, there's the ones like you can verify that people have. What's going on here? It'll take a second. There's a problem in the thing. I don't think my page is down. That's weird. Yeah, here we go. And I don't think I have. Oh, I don't even have one of my certificates. But we could verify if you were somebody in our database and if you had done the work in the course. I have to go get one of those strings again, but I can go find it if we wanted. But yeah, Ernesto. Well, hopefully it's useful to you. I do have. Yeah, there is a book out there. You guys don't need the book to do the labs, though. The book is just extra for almost like journaling a little bit what you're thinking of. But yeah, all this other stuff, like all the courses that we run, those are all free. You guys don't have to pay anything for these. These are just links out on our GitHub. I'll link this to you guys. These are where the courses are, and then where you can go get into the YouTube videos and the older, if you want to go like do the work. And then if you say, oh, I want to connect to the lab, we have a lab environment here. And all you got to do, lab's pretty straightforward, but you got to come down here and you can see somebody was adding their key. You can always put a public key out in the world. Nobody ever, there's no problem with putting public keys out. They're one-way hashed, but here's how you connect if you need to. You just say add key and then put your public key. And then you just connect into our labs and it'll connect you over. So, yeah. Well, Ernesto, that's the goal, man. The goal is to get more people into Linux. I'd say over the course of the years I've been running Prolog, we've probably had, a few hundred people get into the group or get into Linux professionally, and that's the goal. I like to see people do this stuff if they're interested in it, right? Because I think we all, I say this often, but we're all hobbyists, right? All of us play around in the Linux space. All of us have some labs at home and some, whether it's like just some VS, you're running something on your local machine. What is that? What is that Windows one? Like Windows subsystem for Linux. That's what some people, it doesn't matter what you're running. Everybody's trying to, play with this stuff in some way. But I try to show you guys like here, like, these are the things that like I want you to be able to do as an admin. These are like the course objectives of like I want you to be able to do these things, because if you can put these things right here on a resume, if you got nothing else on your resume but you could put these things down, somebody will probably give you guys a shot, right? For people that are trying to get into the industry. And then this whole course is just going over all these things. And this is the one that's starting up in February again. The security one we just finished the other day, but obviously you could watch the videos and you can still do the labs. You can ask me questions down in Discord all you want. And then this is the one that we're still building as we go. Like we build the boat while we're in it. And this week was update and patch systems, and next week will be configure network devices. So I'm working on that one next. You're working on Zorin? Yeah, Ernesto. Yeah, some people have been mentioning Zorin. I haven't ever played with that. I have not played with this at all. But I have heard people talk about this. This is a whole Linux one, right? Yeah, it's just a Linux box, right? Oh, they're actually selling them. Okay, that's kind of cool. Oh wow, they'll put up to 128 gigs of RAM in that bad boy. I don't know what that is in American dollars, but what is that in American? That's not terrible for a pretty solid looking laptop. It's got an NVIDIA in it. Alright. It's not terrible. So yeah, I mean, we're just kind of hanging out. IO fault said doctors get to say practice medicine, lawyers get to say they practice law. I mean, I practice technology. That's fair. Yeah, IO fault. I tell people all the time, man, like I don't think you're ever going to like completely arrive in Linux, right? Like I don't think you're ever going to like I don't think anybody's going to wake up one day and go on a game show and be the king of Linux. I mean, maybe somebody might do that, and there's probably competitions for that kind of stuff, I'm sure, but like for me, like knowing every bit of nuance of a thing was less interesting than like being able to build the thing. And I'll go learn the nuance I need, right? Like I'll go figure out how to build and turn on like Proxmox. Like some of you guys remember back in October when we put this server together. Pretty straightforward build, right? And then we started building stuff out there, right? And this was pretty straightforward build. And then we connected the VLANs over so that Rocky 4 can pull over the DHCP on VLAN 1 as opposed to my normal VLAN, which is just a default untagged VLAN, right? And how we run that in the home lab and stuff. So, you know, yeah, we don't, I don't think we ever like know everything, but we can keep practicing technology. I think that's a good way to put it, right? We keep getting better at this stuff and learning it and then passing it on to others. Some of you guys have been around. We talk. I have so many talks on this stuff for you guys, but I don't want to pull any of them up because I'm lazy right now. Colby said, "What prerequisite for the this course?" I don't think there's any prerequisite for this course. I would just say the more hands-on you can get, the better. Like, because this course like starts you off for the first like this is mostly like commands in Linux, right? Like the first 4 weeks, which when we run it again will be the first 2 weeks because it's going to be compressed. But this is not about this course. And for people that some of the guys on right now, I've seen them talking in the last little bit, have done this one, and they'll tell you that this course does not focus on learning Linux. This one kind of assumes that you've learned Linux. This is more of Linux admin in the enterprise, right? Like we talk about then securing it and some more security and then scripting, and we cover all these things, but a lot of the things we actually talk about in this course are how you interact with the business, how you troubleshoot where work comes from, what an incident looks like if you're getting called out for some problem. Like this is all it's not my point in saying that is like it's not all just command line Linux. I'm not just like, you know, cat etc hosts or something and then like PSEF. Like we're not just doing this stuff, right? We can learn all this stuff, right? Like PSEF and what does this show you and what are the fields? It's not like this. It's more like if we were having a problem in the company, like what are we going to do? And I say, well, network manager didn't come up correctly on this node that booted. Why? Right? And then I might go dig in. Why did this service not boot correctly? Well, where was it trying to boot from? Well, here's the file that it booted from. And it was waiting until the network online target came up. And this thing failed. But why did it fail? Did it fail because I didn't want it to come up? Did it fail because something else was happening? This is the wait online service, so this may be different than like the normal network manager. In fact, I've never actually used this particular service, if we're being honest. So now I might have to go dig in, and I might say, okay, well, when that one does come up, right? So system D, analyze critical. I like to show you guys this command if you're not super familiar with it. I want to look at this. How does this come up? Like if this broke, what were all the things that had to come up to get it running? Well, network manager, did network manager come up? I mean, we didn't see network manager broken, so let's see if network manager came up, right? Right, so oh, that's running. Okay, so network manager came up, but why did the network manager wait online service not boot? And again, you might look and go, I don't even care about that. That's not even a real service because it's really not. I mean, like in the Linux world, I've never really even seen this thing. But we might go read about it and go, ooh, I do want that. Like, what is this? Waits until when network manager logs startup complete and then startup. And it's like, well, okay, what was this thing doing? Well, it looks like it was looking for something. And it says right here, it may fail if these things, right, like maybe things, you know. So I could dig in on this a whole bunch. Or I might say, well, that's an acceptable problem to have on a server. So that wasn't, this may be what we call, you know, if there's an error, we might call this a red herring, or we might call this a, that's typically what we'd call it. It's like a red herring, and I'd go spin off and look at something else. Let's say there was some networking problem. I'm like, something's wrong in the system. I don't see all the connections or all the things I expect, and then I kind of go dig over. Anyways, the original question was, what's a prerequisite for this? I don't think there's no real prerequisite for the Linux admin course, except I would say being able to get into a Linux command line. That would be the main thing. Maybe a prerequisite would be able to be online, which if you're in YouTube or Twitch, you are online, therefore you're there. I tell you guys, like, if you need to practice, Killer Coda is one of the best sites on the web, because Killer Coda is just they'll just drop you in a Linux box. If you've never done any Linux, and here's an Ubuntu, I'm in an Ubuntu scenario right now, and here we go. If anybody wants to, just a sandbox for Ubuntu, playground for Ubuntu. Let's see what's going on in there. No, I know nothing else about this system. I'm at a command line for the first time. Anybody could be at this command line for free. Cat proc CPU info. See what's going on with the CPUs. I've got a little bit. I got one CPU. It's not a very big box. Cat Etsy. Oops. Splat release. One of my favorites. Tells me that I'm on Ubuntu 2404. I can go look up the kernel. I can see how the system booted. Okay, it booted off of this image and here, and then I might say kubectl get nodes, right? Like I'm, oh, I guess on this one we don't have Kubernetes running. But if we had went to the other sandboxes, we would have Kubernetes. So in an Ubuntu one, apparently we don't have Kubernetes running. But if we do a 2-node Kubernetes sandbox, we would have Kubernetes. And then we could start doing all of our CKA and C. This site, Killer Coda, is actually the back end for all the CKA and the CKAD tests. So you could actually go do Kubernetes 1.34 right now without having to build it. That's a lot of what, like, I mean, you can do almost everything you need to in here for these cert tests right here. And then if you wanted to go actually take, I love this, man. This guy, he open sourced all his stuff, Kim Woosterkamp, and I think it has it. Here's the full YouTube course. You can go get ready for that cert right now if you wanted to. Look at all these. He's added to these. I swear there were less of these before, but like, you want to go learn how to do this stuff for the exam, here you go. And you want to know what the exam desktop looks like? This is from the people that build it. So here's what the Playground exam desktop looks like. And it's the same version as the one for the Linux Foundation. Oh, you got to be on the Plus membership for that, apparently. That's fine. All the other ones are still available. All the actual knowledge, right? Like, the exam desktop's not going to get you a job, but knowing how to set up a container namespace with Docker is going to get you a job. These are the tasks that are worth something, right? Like, come in here. And my favorite thing about it is, like, it'll just walk you through it if you want. Container namespaces in Docker. If you didn't know how to do that, you can run one, set up a command, background it, right? Make it here's all your commands if you want to do it. Tells you how to run it. And then you can hit check, skip it if you want to. Yep, I want to skip. I want to go to the next one. And then it'll say, nope, you should probably go learn how to do it. So, and then it shows you what's going on in the environment. So, I think these are, so the question was kind of around like any kind of prerequisites, and I would tell you mainly just being able to get into a Linux command prompt in some way. That would be the most valuable thing, I think, for most of you. So, all right. I got a lot to work on and clean up, but I'm just kind of beat today. So what I'll probably do is call it here. I appreciate you guys coming by. I appreciate you guys kind of hanging out with me. Hang out in the Discord if you guys want. Here's the Discord link. For you guys on YouTube, it's down in the description. For people watching this later, it's down in the description. Let me see if I can grab just this. There you go. Boom. Yeah, and most of you guys know I'm always hanging out in the Discord, so you guys are always welcome to kind of hang out down there with us. We won't raid anybody today, but I definitely appreciate... There you go. You guys can see the sand art. The sand art's just sitting there, guys. Look at it. It's just hanging out. But it does that. It sits for like 15 minutes after it wipes itself, and then it starts drawing again. So we can give it a second if we want and see if it actually comes up. If it starts moving again. But yeah. Jewel 4N. Hopefully this hopefully this stuff's useful to you. I want to give that thing a second to start moving if it's going to. Yeah, we'll wait. We'll do it another night, but yeah, I definitely appreciate everybody coming by, and I will see you guys later. Take care.